Hello, everybody. It's Sonia McDonald here, and welcome to our masterclass that is part of the Leadership Collective. Now, this masterclass is all around courage. In particular, it's with a focus on courageous conversations. So, if you are accessing it today, either as a member or non-member, these masterclasses, we're giving away free masterclasses for the next few months. However, these masterclasses, and we're going to have plenty more of events and masterclasses, are going to be forming part of this incredible membership called the Leadership Collective, which is all about community networking, like global community networking, development, mentoring, leadership, inspiration, motivation. It's an incredible membership. It's only $18 a month, but I'll explore that a little bit more later on. So I just want to say a massive thank you. I'm going to be sharing today all about how I see the world of courage and why courageous conversations are so important in leadership. Also, I think that the model I'm going to share with you today around how to actually carry out and have meaningful conversations with courage is going to change your life. It's going to change your career, your leadership. Everyone uses this model. We teach this model in our leadership programs and coaching, and everyone loves it. So today, that's all about helping you be greater in your life and your leadership. So a massive thank you for being part of the Leadership Collective and a part of also this masterclass around courageous conversations and courageous leadership. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sonia McDonald. I'm the founder of the Leadership Collective and Leadership HQ. I have been living and breathing the people, leadership, and culture space for over 30 years. I've had Leadership HQ for nearly 17 years. Wow. Grab your notebook, write down lots of notes. If there's any other tools or tips or masterclasses or anything, any skills or knowledge you'd love to learn, please reach out to the team at Leadership HQ or the Leadership Collective, because we would love to help you and showcase more masterclasses and development for you. Why you matter. Our whole vision at Leadership HQ and at the Collective is to build a world of great leaders and great leadership. Now, remember, leadership isn't a role or title, it's an attitude. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. If I could have a time machine and go back to my younger self, I would absolutely say to my younger self, please start learning leadership now, because it has made the biggest difference in my life, and even the people that we work with and connect with around this leadership space. Ultimately, leadership is about helping others do more, learn more, be more. I would absolutely say to my younger self, I understand, like we all loved, from a neuroscience perspective, we all love to be comfortable and confident. We like to be in this kind of comfort zone. However, I'm so proud of the work we do, because we really help people get out of this comfort zone into this learning and growth zone where we're seeing self-growth, self-motivation. We're seeing them conquer challenges and fears, and learning new skills and newfound confidence and courage. So we want to help you get from this stage of comfort through fear. Okay, so you finding the time today to jump on this masterclass shows that you want to be in that learning zone. You want to grow. You want to be the best version of you. Because when we think about leaders, and I don't know about you, I'd love you to tell me what you think. Do we need more leaders? We definitely do. I definitely think that we need more leaders, and it starts with us. It definitely starts with us. And this is about what leadership's about. It's about helping others. It's about inspiring others. It's helping them lift them up to do more, be more, learn more. And courage and leadership is an absolute attitude. It's not a role or title. It's an attitude. It's a choice. And leadership is about courage, and part of courage is having a voice. Leadership is about legacy. Like I want to look back on my life and go, I led a life where I led a life of authenticity, courage. I was able to make a difference no matter how small. And I really want that for all of you as well. I don't know. Do you want that for yourself? I hope so. So how do we get you to think about that leadership is an attitude? Look, it does start with us, and who is, the master of their attitude and thoughts and choices and mindset? It is you. Imagine if you saw yourself as a leader. Imagine if you said, I want to be a leader. I want to be known for something. I want to be a great human, because I'm a great believer that great leaders make great humans, and great humans make great leaders. And guess what? You can learn leadership. You can absolutely learn leadership. And this masterclass and being part of the Leadership Collective is going to be part of your journey to be the best version of yourself, regardless of what you're doing or where you are. That I want you to think about. Write down these 3 questions, and one is a little bit hard to read, but I'm gonna actually spell it out for you. Is, who am I? So who am I? Who do I want to be? Like, what do I want to stand for? And why do I want to lead? And I think about who I am, and that self-awareness and what I want to stand for, and I stay congruent with that. So these are the questions I ask myself. Who do I want to be? What do I want to stand for? And why do I want to lead? And it starts with self. It starts with self-leadership. The more you understand yourself, the more you absolutely understand others. And I definitely think that is key to leadership. Because when we embrace leadership and we're out there leading, we're being truly courageous. When we're being courageous, we're more authentic, right? Because we're owning who we are. We're out there kind of going for challenges, overcoming challenges, saying yes to opportunities. When we're authentic with ourselves and with others, we build that connection and that trust. When we have that trust and within ourselves, and it starts with self-trust with others, we're grittier, we're more passionate about life, we're more perseverant, like we have more perseverance. When we have that, we're able to make a difference. So it is about impact. And I think when we look at courage, it's like a diamond, right? There's so many facets to it, and it's rare. Courage is so rare, but it doesn't have to be so rare. It's within all of us. I can tell you now, it's within our DNA. We think about our ancestors and how we've evolved from the cavemen and women and the people out there like Vikings and all the past generations from hundreds and thousands of years ago. It's in our DNA, and it doesn't have to be rare. Courage is like a muscle, right? Courage is courage is courage. The more you build it, the more you're having, like, for instance, courageous conversations, which is part of courage, or seeing that courage within, you're building that courage muscle. You get to courage by couraging. Like you get better at swimming by swimming, or you get better at cycling by jumping on a bike. Is you do it by just being encouraging. And I want you to think about, how do you get to courage? And so many times we work with people that, particularly around courageous conversations, is, oh, I don't want to say anything, and oh gosh, I don't want to have a voice, I don't want to speak up. There's so many things I want to say, and it's like, well, okay, it's like false evidence appearing real, right? I love this analogy of fear. It's false evidence appearing real. Like fear, like courage is fear. It's not the absence of it, it's the mastery of it. So how do we overcome that fear to have these courageous conversations? Because I love this quote, like, you can't practice any virtue radically, but nothing consistently without courage. And it is the most important of all virtues. It is. So I want you to think about courage and think about, to me, these are the keys to courage and to leadership. And for some reason, this didn't come out very well, and it comes out much better on my slide on my PowerPoint, but it didn't come out very well here on StreamYard today. I'm just going to quickly go through them because it didn't come out very well today. Is the first one, right, is self. I have this beautiful courage compass that didn't come out as well as I'd hoped on this slide. It's part of my book, First Comes Courage, and it shares the elements that I feel make up courage. And it does start with self. It starts with understanding self. and understanding what are your fears, what are your triggers, what are your values. I think that's really important to understand your values. If you approach any courageous conversations with your values as front of mind, like one of my values is kindness, one of my values is courage, one of my values is wisdom. So every time I go to a conversation, I always keep my values as my compass. I love this quote by James Kerr from the book Legacy. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. That values determine your character and your character determines your values. So if you would love understand your values, just Google values assessments. We've got a great values assessment. Just reach out to the team at Leadership Collective or Google free values assessments. There's plenty of them. Understand your values. The next one is kindness. Yes, that was supposed to look like a lovely little compass diagram there. Kindness really helps you get to courage. One of my favorite quotes by Brené Brown is she says, to be unclear is to be unkind. To be clear is to be kind. So approach courageous conversations with kindness. Think about that by actually saying what you need to say is being kind. Because sometimes some of the most courageous and uncomfortable conversations I've had or someone's had with me have been the most kindness conversations. It actually can transform someone's dark moment. It can help them see the light. And it shows that you really care about them. If you do it with kindness and great intent, you can't go wrong. I think as well when it comes to courage, it's all about purpose. Why do you do what you do? Like when I think about leadership and I think like for my role in leadership is to help others do more, be more, learn more. That's my purpose. And look, it is a big question. A lot of people go, oh my gosh, like purpose is massive. How do you find your purpose? And it's not going to be like bingo, it's going to come up. I think it's like one of my favorite books is Ikigai. Again, it's all around finding your purpose. Is you become more courageous when you understand your purpose. This is why for me to have a voice in leadership, that's part of my purpose, to help others do more and be more, to serve them. And sometimes it is about having courageous conversations, but I know that if my purpose is to help them be better or everyone be better, and sometimes these conversations are uncomfortable, that's when we grow, is when we are uncomfortable. And I think that's really important, that we find that purpose, and that also as well, when we embrace courage, it helps us be more resilient and it helps us be stronger. It's like armor. Courage is like having this armor, and you keep getting these dents and bruises on the armor. But the thing is, you're building up such an incredible armor around you. You're getting stronger and stronger. So part of having courageous conversations is challenging. It is sometimes, whoa, okay, I might stuff up. It might not turn out the way I want in terms of my courageous choices or my courageous conversations. But the thing is, I think what's really important is that it's not a failure. Like if it didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out, it's actually part of success. It's part of learning. It's part of growth. I think it's just about that impact that we can continue to have by being courageous. And communication is everything. Connection is everything. And this is why we set up the Leadership Collective, because we wanted to have that impact. We wanted to teach others to do more, be more, because that is leadership. It is about how do we have these courageous conversations with people around us that are around courage. And I love calling them courageous conversations or courageous connection, because to connect is courageous. To share your thoughts and feelings is courageous. To truly connect with someone is courageous. Yesterday, and this isn't, I'm not saying courageous conversations is negative or positive, right? Courageous conversations are just what they are. They're just about the courage to connect with someone, the courage to share with someone, the courage to give someone feedback, the courage to let someone kind of connect with you as well. Like, there's so many elements, courageous conversations. Yesterday, I went for a walk. I love going for a walk up to this wonderful creek where I live, and there's all these ducks, and there's this one-legged duck. Apparently, I found out yesterday they call her Miss Gumpy or something like that. It was actually quite a lovely conversation, and this is lovely old man called Chris, and I go up there with my duck food, and I always look for the one-legged duck. I have obviously want to make sure that she is okay. I don't know, it's he or she or they. I don't know what gender this duck is. And but it's a gorgeous little one-legged duck. And I see this man occasionally also feeding the ducks. And I found out that his name is Chris, and he's 94 years old. And we got to talking about the ducks. And then I started walking home with him because he had said to me while he was feeding the ducks, and I just happened to be there feeding them as well, that the day beforehand he wasn't feeling well. And we talked about that. And I had a beautiful conversation with him on the way home. And I walked him back to his home and about how he grew up in Tasmania. Oh, he grew up in London and lived in Tasmania. And he had a small business with 50 staff making cabinets in Tasmania. And it was just such a lovely moment of connection with this man. And he told me a story about how he loved where he was living because there was a bus. So he could catch a bus to two little places where I live. And he said that, however, even though the bus stopped outside his house, there was no bus stop. There was no dedicated bus stop with, the little bus stop with the sign and everything. And he said he spent months and months and months writing to the council, ringing the council, and they finally built a bus stop. And he said when they put the concrete on the ground to put the pole up with the bus stop, the bus sign, he put his name Chris in the concrete. So I said, that's just amazing. What an amazing story. He said, yeah, I had to he goes, I was part of that bus stop, so I had to put my initials in the concrete. I was like, okay. I thought that's an amazing story of courage. But it was that ability to connect with someone took courage. And for me to want to spend time, and I did because it was an honor, to talk to that person about their life. But the thing is, right, I think that sometimes we have beautiful conversations like that are courageous, but sometimes we have to have courageous conversations that are uncomfortable, that we see something or someone does something or says something to us that makes us, I don't know, brings out that threat response in us. It could be someone says something nasty to you, or something gives you negative feedback, or something unexpected, or they're unkind to you. And you're kind of like, whoa, how do you have those conversations where you go, hey, I just want to check in with you. What's going on here? Or, you want to share your feelings with someone and they haven't validated them. So I think it's around how do we have great courageous conversations? And this is a really great model, right? Around, and I can tell you now, it really helps you be courageous. It's called the ladder of inference. I know we've all done it. We've all climbed the ladder. And I'll give you an example. Years ago, I was speaking at a conference and I saw someone that I coached at the front row, and this great guy called Stuart. And anyway, I was speaking on stage and I noticed during my keynote that he yawned. Now we do this. We see a piece of data, and we've all got different brains, and then we put our own interpretation of that data. So immediately my brain went, okay, direct observable data. I've seen Stuart yawn. I then select data based on my experience or bias. And at the time I was just building up my keynote speaking career. And I attached seeing that yawning, my interpretation of that was he was bored. So I go, my meaning is boredom. He's bored. I'm obviously like starting to climb this ladder. I'm developing my own assumptions based on the meanings I've added. Like, so therefore I've gone, my assumption is he doesn't think I'm a good speaker. I then draw my conclusions based on my assumptions. I start to climb the ladder even more. I start to go, okay, my conclusions are, does he not respect me as a speaker or a coach? Or maybe I'm not good at this. And then I start to create beliefs based on that around the world. And then I really start to climb the ladder and start to take action based on these beliefs and start to go, maybe I shouldn't be speaking, or maybe he doesn't actually respect me in my role. Anyway, I'm hoping this video works, and it doesn't look like it's going to, unfortunately, on StreamYard. There was this great video I was going to share with you. I'll put it in the comments. Just an example of the ladder of inference. I highly recommend that you definitely look up ladder of inference. There's some great videos online around it. Because the thing is, if I don't actually have that conversation with Stuart, I'm going to walk around having this belief system of either, oh, maybe I'm not a good keynote speaker, or maybe Stuart doesn't really kind of think I'm good at what I do. So I decided to have the courageous conversation. So next time I saw Stuart, I went up to him and I said, hey, I just want to have a check in with you. You know, you were at my keynote presentation yesterday. I'm just curious, how did you find my presentation? Now, I could say, hey, I yawned, and I thought my interpretation of that is, I thought maybe I was boring. Look, you can say, this is the world. This is how I see the world. Like, this is my perspective. The thing is, like, this is a true story. Stuart actually said to me, I really appreciate you saying, being curious and finding out what's going on. I thought the keynote was amazing. I'd been up all night with a sick child and I was exhausted. So I was actually exhausted. So the thing is, right, thank goodness I checked in with him and I had the conversation versus wandering around with assumptions in my mind. You know what they say about assumptions? They make an ass out of you and me. And so I'm so pleased I checked in with him. And also it made our relationship much better that he felt that I had the courage to actually talk to him about it versus kind of ruminating about it and then making up all these different stories, right? The thing is, I also had to be cognizant of, he could also have said to me, hey, yeah, I actually didn't find it very interesting. Would you be open to some feedback, or I could ask for some feedback? So I had to also be open to that as well. That, and this is the process I use. It's called balancing advocacy and inquiry. So advocating, like, it's kind of like when I see you turn up late for work every day, I think it means that you might not be motivated. My concern it is impacting your work and the team's work. But what's going on for you? Like, what are you experiencing? Why are you turning up late? I think it's a really great way to connect, because you're kind of going, hey, this is what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing the world based on my mindset, my perspective. Okay. And that's it's like a little exercise I do with everyone in my leadership programs is, when you think of the color red, what's the first thing that springs to mind? People say fire engine, red light, blood, anger, fire, love, red wine. Like, everyone has all these different perspectives of red, but it's kind of like, well, hang on, how can you think about that color differently to me? We all see the world through our different lenses, through our different mindsets. So our direct observable data it doesn't mean it's reality. It's just our perspective. So I think it's a great way to have a courageous conversation to go, look, I need to tell you that when I'm seeing this is the meaning I have around the data, and this is my concern. And you don't want to have that different perspective on the data. What are you experiencing? Because the person might go, hey, look, the reason I'm turning up late is I didn't want to say anything, but I've got a family member that's terminally ill and I'm going to hospital every night, but I didn't want to say anything. So it's, but there could be times where they're like, I don't actually want to tell you what I'm experiencing. You're like, no worries. I'm here if you need me. I just thought I'd connect with you. It's kind of like, to me, it's like the 2 C's. Curiosity, compassion. I always look at all interactions like that, with curiosity, compassion. Another very, very simple example. Long time ago, I was running a leadership program for a pharmacy group, and I went to get a cup of coffee, and it was evident that the person that was making me the coffee, I was the only one there ordering, and I went to order, and he was agitated. He didn't look me in the eye, very short with me. And you know what I said to him? I said, how are you going today? And he just looked up at me and he went, I'm not great today. And I said, yeah, I can tell what's going on. My concern is, I can see that this is impacting what's going on in your mind. You want to have a talk, and I'm here if you want to listen. And he was like, thank you so much. And we had a brief chat, and he really appreciated it, connected with him. But it was like, I could have said, oh, well, bugger off. Like, I'm not going to connect with you if you're going to be in this kind of, mood, or if this is how you're going to treat me. I'm going to just kind of walk away. But I thought, you know what? I need to be curious here, and I need to be compassionate, because I can tell you now, we've all got something going on. We all do. So every time I'm experiencing someone's behavior, I'm like, okay, I wonder what's going on for them. What's going on for them today? What went on for them yesterday? What went on to them in their life that they could have been trauma or whatever? I mean, I'm still very much around boundaries and calling out unkind behavior, but I do it with curiosity, compassion, and always keep my values. Like, for me, it's around staying true to myself and having these conversations where it is about my values and kindness. But this is a great technique where you're balancing advocacy and inquiry. So I'd love you to tell me what you thought about today. What's one thing you could take away from today? Could you actually do the ladder of inference? Have you experienced ladder of inference? Could you do the direct observable data, balancing advocacy and inquiry? I would love to know what you got out of today. Like, what is the one thing that you could take away today? And if you'd love to know more about the Leadership Collective, it's only $18 a month. There's free events, free masterclasses, an amazing community, heaps of resources. We've got some conferences coming up that are for members for free. There's so many amazing things that we have as part of the collective. If you would love to know more, here's a free habits journal. This is some amazing little, yes, I know the ladder of inference is such a great, so often we do that. We actually climb the ladder. Definitely I'll put in the comments around that video. I'm sorry it didn't work, the ladder of inference video. It's a great little video. Always remember, like, we do climb this ladder. And sometimes I go, oh my gosh, I just got off the phone with someone and they said this. And I'd climb a ladder, I'd start to make assumptions, and then I start to ruminate. And then I just go, why didn't I just check in and just say, hey, I noticed you said this today. My concern is, like, what's going on for you? It's a great way to connect with people. And the more you do it, the more you'd have courage and do the courageous conversations, or the courageous conversations, or the courageous connections, the building the muscle, right? It becomes so much easier. And most of the time people are like, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. If there's anything we can do to help you at Leadership HQ or at the Leadership Collective, please let us know. We're always here to help and serve you. And keep on encouraging. Remember, courage is about self-awareness. Start with self. It's about kindness, self-kindness, and kindness to others. It's definitely about purpose, why you do what you do. Hold tight to that. It's about resilience. Remember, it's a muscle. And one of my favorite sayings is, why spend 5 minutes worrying about it if it won't matter in 5 years' time? And leadership's about impact, right? How can you make an impact each and every day? Think about even now, like, I'm going to jump off this masterclass and I'm going to send someone an email, or I'm going to ring someone to say, hey, I'm here to help you. I want to connect with you. I want to say thank you. I want to say you're amazing. Show some kindness and impact today. And if there's anything we can do to help, that, and so you keep having these courageous conversations and connection, please let us know. And thank you so much, and always stay kind and stay courageous.